Hey, it's Father Taylor, and it's your weekly eBlast for Friday, January 14th. So a couple things that are coming up. First of all, this weekend on Sunday, that's right, this Sunday, from Gusau in Nigeria, we have Bishop John, and you'll remember him as Bishop John. It works primarily with the Africa Education Project, AEP. That's the Shagnans, if you remember that section. So he works with that, but he also does work with Kateri and the medical mission as well. He's a wonderful guy, and he's going to be here this Sunday. So if you're not coming in, and that's fine, you know, I understand, because we're almost, is it possible to say that we're peaking, we're plateauing, and we're going to come back, and in just a few months, it's going to be wonderful. But anyway, if you're staying home this week, please tune in to the service and be a part of the service, because Bishop John usually said this is more than just a sermon. There's usually something that really connects us to something that God is saying to us. So I just really want to encourage you to tune in and listen to him this weekend for Bishop John. Okay. Many things are starting to kind of close down for a bit. There'll be no pizza, prayer, and a pint this week. That regularly scheduled activity. They're putting the lid on that for a little bit until we get some more relief from COVID. And the Women's Bible Study is going to all Zoom next week. So the Tuesday morning Women's Bible Study, that's all on Zoom. But here's one that you haven't thought about. On the 23rd, right after we have the Smiths, who are here from Chile to talk about their mission. They'll be speaking next Sunday. But right after 11:45, we're having something which we call the annual meeting workshop. Now, somebody says like, well, why would we have, it's almost like having two annual meetings. This is the workshop where we will really introduce you to how to make those wraps that always used to have during that annual meeting. We're going to show you, I'm kidding. I do love chicken salad wraps. Anyway, but that's another story. The annual meeting workshop, what's that all about? Okay, this year we have some substantial changes and things to talk about. And there's so much that we didn't want to wait all the way until annual meeting and then try to cram it all in on Zoom in 45 minutes, because it would be impossible to do. You wouldn't be able to process all the things that are going on. So you say, what's going on? We're having changes to our bylaws, particularly around the number of vestry members we have. So why would we do that? That's going to be at the workshop. This year's budget, you know, it's very surprising. For the last 2 or 3 years, every time I've heard that there's going to be this, like the sky is falling, I have to admit, the stuff that comes out of the budget is pretty much like a testimony to that God must still be investing in us. He must still think that we're on top of following up with the mission, because he keeps financing us. But you got a great story to hear, and some realities, and some hard realities about, you know, the way our church has changed and declined and where that leaves us. So we talk about the treasury, about from the treasurer, about the budget. Then we're also going to be talking about staff changes. As a result of the trends in the budget, we have to talk about some of the staff changes that'll start this year, and that how we plan that moving out. That's part of our current plan for keeping us poised so that remain focused and agile, flexible to respond to what the Lord does for us in mission. You're also going to hear about what the updates on our buildings. Starting back 2 years ago, we started talking about the need for comprehensive maintenance, but also a plan. How are we going to use our buildings in the future? Is it possible that that all of this unused space in our building could be used during the week in some kind of way? Would there be ministries that we could partner with? Could there be people who would want to pay rent with a kind of usage that we could get on board with? We're going to talk about all of that's going on with the church campus and the not so much the sanctuary, but the education wing. We're also going to talk about the houses. we have had over the last 2.5 years, two major assessments of both houses, one from a maintenance standpoint and one from a market standpoint. And what's our plan for these buildings going forward? There's a lot to talk about. So, and all of that, in addition to elections, we want to be able to have you here to have some time to process that, to ask questions in the workshop without using the regular. The annual meeting is required to follow a particular format as a legal meeting. And so this is more of an informal way to be able to workshop, to be able to like talk and discuss that. Okay, so that's coming up at 11:45 on Sunday the 23rd. So a week before annual meeting, a workshop, and then on the 30th, annual meeting. And so be able to like get people involved. It is always important for us to get together just to see how people are doing, because a lot of us are unable to see each other simply because of the COVID has, made it very difficult to meet in person. So I just want to call your attention to that. It's an opportunity for you to come in and even to see, in our version of Hollywood Squares on Zoom, to be able to see each other, to have some conversations, but also to get this important work done for that's kicking off 2022. All right. So we always encourage you to pray for our church, pray for our church leaders. I mean, we've got outstanding lay vestry members who are doing tremendous work. The folks in the office are just, putting in extra time. Everybody's working overtime ever since COVID kicked in. And so pray for everybody. Pray that God will give us the wisdom to know how to use our time, and for the endurance, and pray for our congregation that we've been inspired by the Holy Spirit to stay part of God's mission, and for the power of the Holy Spirit to be working through us, not only in us, but through us to the people around us. Okay, so that's it for today, and hope to see you this weekend.